try it again. Hi. Hi, my name is Chris.
And I'm Linda.
Welcome to the Happy Place Homestead. Today we want to talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness for a better future. Usually people don't like to talk about forgiveness because quite reasonably they're pretty angry and upset about certain things in their life. And the idea of forgiving is not something that comes naturally.
You know, we like the idea of blazing new trails or having new beginnings. Chris and I have always been about dreaming and starting over and not staying in the same rut that we've always been in. And in order for you and for us to move forward in our life, we have to settle these old things, these things that we have harbored that need to be brought up and forgiven. Either we're forgiving ourselves or we're forgiving others who have hurt us. That doesn't mean that we ignore the wounds and the pain that has been caused against us. It doesn't mean that we forget that we're hurt, but for our own health, to bring forgiveness into a relationship or into ourselves is necessary to move forward in life.
Forgiveness is honestly more about you than it is about the other person. When it's all said and done, if you hold on to resentment and anger and bitterness, all it does is hurt yourself. And so here's an interesting question. Ask yourself this: when has anything ever happened in a way that you say that's the perfect response? You're frustrated, you're angry, you're upset, and you come to that person and you say, you know, you made me angry, you made me upset. It's very usual that the response is not necessarily how you've envisioned it in your brain. And a lot of times when it comes to forgiveness, people are waiting for that perfect response in order for them to move forward. I like to just basically say it like this: if those words come out the way that you need them and want them to happen, what an amazing grace and miracle, because usually they don't. And so you have to make a decision. Will I move forward and will I journey towards the next steps, the next opportunities, the next dreams, or will I continue to hold on to resentment and anger? The choice is really yours.
Right. Forgiveness is an act of the will. You have to sometimes remind your own brain that you have moved on, that you have forgiven someone. And then the real challenge occurs that when you're in contact with that person, if you meet them or you're at a family gathering or whatever it is, to make that conscious thought in your mind, I have forgiven them, I have let this go, and then to not allow things to be brought back up. Oftentimes, I find that I may have moved on and I thought I've moved on something. I have forgiven someone of something, but then, you know, that whole little argument in the brain that occurs, you know, you're having this fight in your mind of, I would say this to them if they said this, I would respond this way. Like, that stuff has to let go. You let go of that. That will never, if you keep those kind of fights going on in your brain, you'll never find real forgiveness and the freedom that forgiveness brings. And you need that freedom in order to move forward in your life.
You know, if you grew up in a religious home, you probably prayed that prayer, you know, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. I mean, it's really hard to forgive, but the awesome thing about forgiveness is that forgiveness is like a muscle. The more that you practice the act of forgiveness, the more you're capable of forgiving. And if you are practicing the act of resentment and anger, bitterness, then you are going to be an expert in that area. And ask yourself the question, which one of those two, forgiveness or resentment, is going to benefit you in the long haul? And I think I've seen a lot of couples that hold on to resentment towards one another. They're frustrated, they're angry because certain words are not said and certain words are said. And when it comes down to your own personal health and personal growth, you have to be willing to say, for me, for the betterment of who I am and where I'm heading, I'm going to choose to move forward even if I don't hear things the way that I want them to be said. Ultimately, it's really your choice, and I choose to forgive. I have had a lot of things in my life that happened that I could be angry with and bitter for the rest of my life, but I choose to forgive. And why is that? Because I want to be a better man and a better person, a better husband, a better son, father. I mean, I want to move forward, and I've seen a lot of people that are just constantly gripping things that happened 20, 30, 40 years ago. Forgiveness.
That's pretty good stuff right there.
All right.
Thanks for watching.
God bless.